It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hello, it is Wednesday morning. Good to be with you. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks to our sponsors who you see there at the bottom of the screen. They make all of this possible. Diana Tyndall with Modern Day Marketing is with me again. Good to see you.
Good morning. Yeah, happy hump day.
Happy hump day it is. Yeah, let's do some news here.
Ready.
It has been a few days since the heavy rain over the weekend, but hot waterways are still high. They're still fast moving, and they're still pretty dangerous. Case in point, yesterday, another water rescue had to be made. 4 people had to be pulled from the James River in Stone County when their raft flipped over. It's a dangerous time to be out on the water on a raft, but I know it sounds fun, but then you end up being pulled to shore by police. Over the weekend, there were several water rescues because of all the rain, and we covered those earlier in the week. So they are slowing down, but I was surprised that we had one yesterday.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the strong storms on Sunday brought to light some potentially really big problems when it comes to access to storm shelters in Ozark. The tornado shelter at the Ozark Community Center, called the OC, stayed locked. So residents who went there to take shelter when the tornado sirens sounded were stuck outside in the weather. Fortunately, no tornado hit there. That's the good news. Apparently, the issue was that Ozark was never under a tornado watch first, but went right to a more serious tornado warning. Police or the OC staff will unlock the shelter if there's a tornado watch in place, so that when and if a warning happens, people can get inside the shelter. But they never went to unlock it to begin with because no watch was issued. It just went right to a warning, which was trouble because people go there for shelter. And then it's even worse because they were outside. So the city is now looking at ways to get remote access to unlock the doors and to make sure that they are available when people need them. And that's always been the thing that I've been curious about when it comes to community shelters like that, is because, and I was just talking to somebody this weekend who had to, on Friday night, take shelter in a different part of the state. They had to drive almost 10 minutes to get to a shelter. And I was like, well, you're going to be on the road for 10 minutes when there's a tornado warning, the sirens are going off. It seems like you're more vulnerable then.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of questioned these community shelters because, man, it seems pretty dangerous for people to be leaving. But then again, if you're in a mobile home, you don't want to stay there. So
no,
it's tough.
Find a bathtub and a basement or both.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Well, hopefully they can learn from, the experience. Looks like small towns and parts of Nebraska, Iowa, and Oklahoma continue to dig out from the rubble following the powerful tornadoes over the weekend as well. Springfield-based Convoy continues to deliver essential relief supplies to survivors of the storms. In Marietta, Oklahoma, the town's grocery store was destroyed by the tornado. Convoy of Hope has bagged up thousands of bags of groceries and is delivering them to people there, which is very kind. You can follow along on the responses at convoyofhope.org or follow them on social media. Wow. And a cardiologist in Springfield is suing CoxHealth, accusing it and Farrell Duncan Clinic of conspiring to hurt his medical practice. Dr. Keesag Barron opened his own cardiology group after working for CoxHealth and the Farrell Duncan Clinic. He claims that CoxHealth interfered with his business and defamed him, which led to damage his income and reputation. So,
all right, we'll see how that plays out in court.
Yay.
There's a toll bridge at the Lake of the Ozarks, and now it is just a bridge. It's no longer a toll bridge, which is cool. When it was built back in 1998, and some of you probably remember when that happened, you were here, tolls were implemented to pay off its $41 million of debt. And here we are 26 years later. The final $2 toll was taken yesterday, interestingly, by the very first person who went through the toll bridge in 1998. It was the same person.
Cool.
And really they were able to pay it off 2 years early, which
that's
is nice.
Really neat.
So it was a private bridge that was a toll bridge. It is now a free bridge to drive across, and it is now owned by the state of Missouri. So
wow.
Success. Yeah.
That's neat.
Oh, question for you. Is parking in downtown Springfield really a nightmare?
Not if you know where to go.
Okay.
Were you asking me? I'm sorry. I just start
that's a
answering.
question for everybody. That's a question I want everybody in their own heads to answer. You can answer yours out
Well,
loud.
I have friends that literally are like, Diana, you drive because you know downtown. And I'm very familiar with downtown. But if you're not familiar with downtown, I think the answer would be no. Like they don't know.
Okay. A new study just completed says no, it is not a nightmare. And if you think it is a nightmare, you have more maybe of a perception problem than an actual parking problem. Ooh, how about that? The proof is in the numbers, they say. During peak usage during a weekday, 64% of spaces were available. So considerably more than half of the spaces were open and not being filled. During peak time during a weekday, which is when people are there doing business. The study was done by a private firm paid for by the city because they were trying to figure out if they need to tackle this parking problem, perceived parking problem maybe. The study offered some recommendations to help with perception, including creating a parking page on the city website to show people where to park, like you're talking about, creating 2-hour limits so people can't just be there all day, and improved lighting and signage to and from parking garages, which may help. Also, what you're talking about is knowing where to go.
Yeah, I think that's part of the key is just you got to know where to go and you got to be aware of your surroundings. I think there's certain parking places I would not park if I was just going down there by myself.
I think that plays into this because people are thinking, well, because the issue is you can park a lot of places with a 3-minute walk.
Yeah.
But if we hear stories about how it may not be the safest place anymore.
Right.
And if you're at night, at certain hours of the night, I don't know that maybe you want to be walking 3 minutes to your car. That's what I think people don't want to do.
And they don't want to pay to park either. That's the other thing, like there's a great $5 parking garage that is like so convenient because your car is not going to get towed, which a lot of my friends have had issues with. They park and then they get their car towed. So here's a pro tip too. I mean, if you just don't want to mess with any of it, I think they're still doing this. Hotel Vandevort, Hotel V, you can literally just use their valet service. If you're not staying at the hotel, and they'll valet your car. So if you're going to see something at the little theater or, a lot of times people don't want to park far away and have to walk to where they're going. But
is that the pay service?
Yeah, it's a pay service. I think, I don't know. One day I could not find a parking spot and I had to be somewhere and I was like, you know what, just forget it. I'll pay. And I think it was like, maybe at most it was $15, which is a little steep for me, but like for the convenience and then being able to stay there is all day. Like it was $15 for the day.
Right.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that does play into people's thinking. Either we can go downtown and eat, for example, but we may not park very close. We may have to pay to park. So
and set your timer.
Right. So maybe you choose a restaurant where that's not an issue. Yeah.
Right. Well, 1 year ago, the Surgeon General of the United States warned about negative health effects of loneliness and isolation are comparable to smoking every day. Wow. To help combat the epidemic of loneliness and social isolation in Missouri, the Coover Charitable Foundation, Commerce Trust, and the Community Foundation of the Ozarks are giving out $220,000 in grants. 14 organizations are recipients in their work to bring residents of rural communities together. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's neat. Friends. I mean, that is, we found out during and after COVID just how serious the problem of loneliness is. And weirdly, with Generation Z, their kids are growing up lonely. They're isolated.
Yeah. Well, they seem like they're so social because they're on social media, maybe what their online presence looks like versus what their actual presence looks like. Right. Yeah. I was like, are you posting something right now, Ethan? He was playing on his phone. But that's sad. So find yourself some friends, get involved in community things. And I think you'll find that can work. You got to put yourself out there first to find friends,
Well, that's true. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of vulnerability and effort.
Yeah. And I can speak from experience because I moved about 10 times in 18 years. So I was always the new kid.
Yeah.
Which was great, but it allowed me to make friends quickly.
Right.
All right. Well, the state of Kansas is working hard to try to lure the Chiefs to their state with a new stadium. We've talked about this before, I think, but lawmakers in Kansas are talking about ways to create financial incentives for the Chiefs to build a stadium and move their games across state lines. The Chiefs owners has said the team will consider moving out of Arrowhead since voters in Jackson County said a resounding no to giving their tax money to pay for upgrades to the stadium. So our beloved Arrowhead.
I know it's getting interesting. Could you imagine the ghost town that would be if the Royals end up leaving and they leave Arrowhead isn't functional? I don't know. I mean, they'd have to just implode them, I guess. I don't know what you do.
I don't know.
So many memories would go down the tubes, though.
Concerts, more concerts. They would bring in more concerts.
More concerts. Dueling concerts right next to each other.
Right. Who knows?
Stadiums.
We'll see.
Well, you've probably seen the signs all along the highways all across the state. Those signs now will be going away because the Adopt a Highway program in Missouri is now over.
Oh.
How about that? Apparently, and who knew, but apparently the Adopt a Highway program had costs. I don't know what those costs would be. And safety risks that outweighed its benefits. So they're getting rid of it. In its place, Missouri is launching a volunteer litter pickup program called Keeping Missouri Beautiful. Details on the new program aren't known yet, so I don't know exactly what that looks like and how that's different from the Adopt a Highway program. But that Adopt a Highway program has been around since 1987.
Wow, a long
time. So
it's
been around a long time. But it was interesting to read that it's cost prohibitive, because I thought people paid to adopt a highway.
I thought they did too, but I had looked into this when I worked for the Parks Department because I had a similar idea about adopting a park kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not as much as you might think it is.
That they pay?
Yeah, that they pay. Plus, they have signage. Plus, if someone runs into the sign, they have to replace it because someone's paid to sponsor that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
Okay. Maybe they should be charging more. But anyway, at any rate, it's going away. They're going to replace it with some kind of other volunteer program.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that does. But a lot of people use the Adopt a Highway to honor family members who maybe lost their lives there or things like that. So they're sad that the signs are going away.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, we have a new contest to win tickets to Arts Fest 2024, which is coming up this weekend. Not much time to enter, which means there won't be as many entries maybe as there are whenever there's a longer contest that we're talking about. You have until 10 in the a.m. tomorrow to enter the contest at aroundtheozarks.com. You can also go to the free Around the Ozarks app for your smartphone and enter all of our contests. And we have great contests there. You ought to be checking that site out every day. Arts Fest coming up this weekend. It's always a lot of fun on historic Walnut Street in Springfield, May 4th and 5th. May the 4th be with you. So you can enter right now as we're wrapping this thing up.
Oh my goodness. And it's May. It's May 1st.
It is May 1st.
Which this should be a national holiday.
It should be
around the Ozarks because Mr. Ethan Forhetz's birthday is today.
Oh,
happy birthday to you. That's awesome.
Yeah. May Day.
It's going to be May
Day.
Okay. Well, I'll quit making a big deal about it, but
also
don't miss you're 1 year closer for this midweek matinee for the really great combo ticket opportunity. If once you're a senior citizen, but the midweek matinee at the Galois Theater, doors open. It is going on today. Doors open at is it 1 or 11?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Okay. And the show starts at 2 for the showing of the 1972 film, The Cowboys, starring John Wayne. Greene and Christian County seniors 60 plus get a free combo ticket with proof of ID upon arrival. So enjoy your popcorn and a movie and a good old time.
I'm closer to that free popcorn and a drink as of today.
We won't let the public know how old you are.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, then also this Saturday, something fun to put on your calendars. Meet your local first responders and emergency workers at the Rutledge Wilson Farm Park. Check out police and fire and emergency vehicles, play some yard games, pose for photos, and visit, of course, the farm park animals that are always so fun. They have a playground that is barn themed and a fishing pond that you can rent fishing poles, free admission, all ages from 10 to 2. And actually 10 to 11 is a sensory friendly hour for guests with sensory sensitivities, which is always great. So more details by our sponsor at parkboard.org/farm park.
That's such a fun park for kids just in general, but whenever they're bringing out the ambulances and the emergency vehicles out there and the yard games and all the fun stuff, kids will really enjoy that. And of course, we love the Springfield Greene County Park Board.
Yes.
They're one of our sponsors, and they do such a good job putting together things like this that the community gets to get out and enjoy so that isolation is not a problem.
Yes. Go make some friends.
Right.
Animal friends and people friends.
That's exactly right. And before we go, one more contest. Just want to remind you, Mother's Day is coming up quick, and we have a few more days for this contest at aroundtheozarks.com. We are giving away a $150 gift card for a flower arrangement for mom by the Flower Merchant, which is fantastic. Also, a $50 gift card so she can eat at the Civil Kitchen, which is a fantastic place to go get a meal. So you can really celebrate mom, and it won't cost you anything, but she'll think it did. $200 worth of stuff by registering now, entering the contest at aroundtheozarks.com or on the Around the Ozarks free app for your smartphone.
That's great.
There we go. Yeah. What else? Anything else? Is that it?
Just happy birthday. If you see Ethan around town today doing all his convoy things, make sure you give him a big hug for his birthday.
A big hug for my birthday.
Since Sarah's out of town, is Sarah going to give you a cake from afar? An Egyptian cake?
I'm sure a lot of things will happen from afar.
Okay. We'll have the kids make you a cake and take you out to dinner and all the things. So
okay, I'm sure they have that planned. It'll be a fun day at the Four Heads household for my birthday. Thank you, Diana, for remembering that. That'll do it for us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening, stick around in 30 seconds. Abby Dyer's wake up weather forecast is coming up. There is weather in the forecast. It's coming back. We've had a couple of nice days, but the weather's coming back. So stick around for that. And we will see you back here bright and early on Thursday.